Right, this one is a bit strange. What the hell is that? Oh, push it in a bit. Fucking thing. It's better. Right. Oh, something in my logo. 8 legs. Make what you want of that. Oh. Right, let's get comfy. Patch got home from work, took off his boots and laid them on the front doorstep. He unlocked the door, walked in and walked to his room. He undressed, put his robe on, went downstairs, put his tea in the oven and had a shower. As he came out of the bathroom, he casually looked at his roommate's tarantula in the lounge. "Ugly fucking cunt," he said, looking at She-Knob. "You're not too bad," he said, looking in the other tank at Fiona. He then went upstairs and got changed. A bit dark in here because I shut the curtains, the bloody lights shine right into the bloody camera. He collected his tea from the oven. Tonight he was dining on such luxuries as oven chips, steak pie and Asda baked beans. He felt a lucky gentleman. He ate it on his tray on his lap as he watched the chase. Such a predictable chap, Patch was. He went down and washed up, and as he walked through the lounge, his view was distracted. He peered into She-Knob's tank. "Jesus, she's a big bugger," Patch said. He took a photo on his phone and sent it to his darts chat group. "Big old thing," Fruitbat text. Patch played some vinyl. He played a Leo Sayer album he hadn't played since he got it. He went to bed about 10 when he started getting tired. His alarm rang at 5 a.m. He felt for his phone, found it and cancelled the intrusive noise. He stretched out, yawned. He rose from his bed, brushed his teeth and had a wash in the basin. He dressed, uncovered his budgies and proceeded to go downstairs. That sounded dodgy, didn't it? Uncovered his budgies. Just realised. He pushed at the dining room door, but it didn't open. He thought it was weird. He thought it was the wedge that was on the other side. But as he peered through the slight gap in the doorway, he could see the wedge was lying across the room. "That's odd," he muttered, and pushed a little harder onto the door. It did give way a little. He inched his way around the door to see what the obstacle could be, and to his alarm he now stared at an absolutely horrifying sight. She-Knob, the tarantula's leg, was holding the door shut, but the leg was now about 6 foot long, and there were 7 more of these gigantic hairy limbs. Patch was frozen to the spot. Only his eyes were capable of any movement, and they were staring straight at the body of She-Knob. It was a massive spider, and it looked pissed off. He tried to move, but he couldn't achieve the slightest movement, and was certain this was the end of him. The arachnid turned to look at him with its many eyes. It then shot out a massive web, which wrapped around him. Patch was tightly wrapped, only his face visible. The spider spun back round and crawled behind the sofa, this being its new home. Patch couldn't move at all. He couldn't even reach for his phone, or even pull at the webbing. He couldn't do anything. Nobody else was home. He felt totally helpless and was terrified, not knowing when this creature could come back to feast on him. The doorbell suddenly rang. Ding, ding. He was only 3 feet away from the front door. If he shouted, would this alert the spider? He had no knowledge on arachnids. He didn't know they had good hearing or anything. This was a dilemma. Should he shout for help or not? He shouted, "The door's open, come in please." After a short pause, he heard the front door open, and in walked the postman. He came into the room and was shocked at what he saw. "Please help, there's some scissors on the windowsill. Please, help." The postman took the scissors and began carefully cutting the web. He was almost down to Patch's legs when he suddenly jolted backwards. Patch looked on. A long hairy leg had the postman by the throat and was dragging him towards the sofa. Patch managed to break free from the web, and he pulled the scissors from the postman's grip and stabbed at the giant leg. A shriek filled the room, and the leg recoiled back to safety. The two men ran through the front door and ran up the road. They stopped a few doors up and turned round. The giant arachnid was walking towards them. It spun a web around a pussycat next door and stuck it against a wall. Fucking hell, what should we do? Patch asked. Let's get it to follow us up to the main road. Maybe somebody else can help us, he replied. It followed them and it stood on its hind legs ready to attack. They crossed their arms in terror. Then there was an almighty screech, and they could smell burning rubber. They opened their eyes. There in front of them was a bloody mass of gore. The creature had been hit by a lorry. The driver was in a state of panic. Patch took a picture and sent it to Belle, his roommate. He texted, sorry, but She-Knob has had an accident. But thank God for that. She was about to kill us all. Now can you please get a hamster next time? Short but sweet, but also very entertaining. I've got to take this fucking net off my head. And don't worry, there'll be another story shortly.